We are previewing Week 15 in the NFL right now with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Some games Joe Duffy tackles have some decent clear edges that we agree on. Others are tough, and this appears to be a tough one, Joe Duffy. Buffalo and Washington, right? Last week, Washington got a win over the Bears. The Sharps faded them. The Sharps took the Bears in that one, and the Sharps lost. Washington got the win. They're kind of playing well. Kirk Cousins actually, not playing too badly. Having Jordan Reed at healthy at tight end is a huge boost, although they also got a bunch of other injuries at tight end. So right now it's basically Jordan Reed or nothing at tight end for Washington. And then the Bills, they lost at Philly. They're a quality team, but they have some negatives, right? The right side of their offensive line is kind of weak. They were shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. They don't really have a deep threat outside of Sammy Watkins. So they have a lot of positives, but also some negatives. Washington's a 1-point home underdog right now. This game, I don't know, maybe I'd wait to see if there's any reports of sharp action coming in one way or the other on this one. I guess I'd be leaning Washington at the moment. What's your take on this game, Joe?
Well, one of the reasons that what the Sharps have been doing that we said up until the last 2 weeks, Washington had some of the more pronounced home road splits, and especially Kirk Cousins, as any team you've seen in a long time in the NFL. But now all of a sudden, Cousins, each of the last 2 weeks, the road team has won a game, but he used to be spectacular at home and so-so on the road. And still, his stats at home are much better than they are on the road. Also, Buffalo, look, they had their share of injuries on offense this year. At least their offensive weapons are as healthy as they've been. So I think they're slightly undervalued offensively, only slightly, but look, in gambling, you're only looking for a small edge here and there. And I think, if anything, my strongest line, I'm not really in love with this game, but I think probably my best play is to go with the over because Cousins, the last 2 weeks notwithstanding, still much better at home than he is on the road. And as you said, the fact that he's off of a good road game is really an encouraging sign for him. And because I think Buffalo's offense slightly undervalued, I do think probably the over is the better percentage play of either the side or the total.
Yeah, I can see that. It is kind of a modest total. 43.5 or 44 are the market-wide numbers. I guess my only issue is Buffalo does appear to have bigger weapons on defense. Well, actually, that's not really true, I guess. Yeah. All right. Do you want to make that an official pick over 43.5, Joe Duffy?
We will make it an official pick, but yeah, because there is a reason that the total is fairly low, but I do think it's artificially just a teeny bit too low. And again, sometimes it's about a small edge.
Sounds good to me. I would agree with that, Joe Duffy. A little bit low, not hugely low, but a teeny bit low. Your analysis, your assessment of this game, I would agree with. Joe Duffy, it's always great talking with you about any game, even when the edges are small or unclear. But at your website, you have some games where there are big edges or very clear edges. And I know you have your NFL Game of the Year going this week. Is that true, Joe Duffy?
It is. Not only are we having one of the great years in NFL and college football history off a 7-3 week last week, but Saturday is one of the strongest bowl days I've ever seen. You read the analysis. We're very specific. You've won with some of these metrics before. That's a little bit of a hint. But then Sunday we have the NFL Game of the Year, which includes an angle that has never lost as far back as any of our databases go. And we have one that goes back to 1980. Never, ever lost. Plus, there's some other supporting data to this NFL Game of the Year. All that and more, OffshoreInsiders.com.
Sounds great, Joe. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter.